though you're not going to draw the whole things, okay, from scratch, okay, but it will develop basically your awareness and concern. One of the most important objective why actually we draw the basic structures there, because we want to create this kind of awareness there first, understanding that. Because not every time you're going to draw the whole structures in details there, okay, but we need to apply the kind of methods and understanding whenever that we're going to draw any other subject matters later on in the future. Okay, that's why we have to draw them from the first place. Then you develop that more understanding while you add some of the details there. One of the things that I saw from most of the students there, okay, how actually they add some shadings at the same times. But I can see some of you guys actually have been able to go up there, okay, from there. But the rest of the guys who actually felt that you still need more attention on those understanding on the structures, try to draw and start to draw that back again, and then try to develop more concern. When you add those layers, try to add more kind of detailing something. Okay. Am I answering your question there, Shubin?
What?
Wei Chin? Yeah, all right.
Yes, yes.
All right, Shubin, what is it, Shubin? Like Shubin? No?
Oh, no, 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 no. You just asked me just now.
What is it, Shubin?
No, no, nothing.
Nothing. Oh. Okay, work on that, guys. Okay, I want to see those results on around 4:30 there, okay? Right now there, okay, Clarissa there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you actually write the size that you actually use right now, the brush
Uh,
size? Okay,
10.
okay, good, all right.
I'm not using the ultimate brush. I don't have that.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm using this
Okay, 10 there,
pencil
okay. As long
brush.
as you can get the right kind of strokes there. What version of the Photoshop there, right?
I think it's 2015.
2015.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, good. 10, all right.
Oh,
I never
it's
used this kind of 2015 versions, but as long as the brush strokes had actually a similar kind of feel and flows, you can
yeah,
use them,
like
right?
this.
Yeah, you can use them. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, when you draw those hairlines,
Yeah.
when you start to draw the whole structures there first without draw the flows of the hair according to the shadows, you can actually write mixed up those what we call the quality of line altogether that okay, with your hairline, okay, as long as you can get the strokes flows a bit more softer, okay,
Oh,
while we actually you move basically your hand to draw them. Try them first. um,
okay.
mm. It's good because I didn't open up also my webcam because I want to make yourself a bit more like a diva there, okay, on those things there. All right,
Wait, I'm too nervous.
it's okay, okay, won't like relax there, okay. mm. Just pretend that no one here there, okay. Just pretend that because you have to train yourself also to develop that kind of inferior, okay, to draw in front of persons there or demonstrate, okay. It will good for you there, right? Okay, check back again, Clarissa, okay, the shapes of it. Don't just simply draw the hairline. Check the
Okay.
shapes of it there, okay, when you draw them. So don't just simply draw the strokes, even though you know this, the flows of it, but carefully to see the structures that form basically the hair. People don't actually look at it in details there. They just simply draw them, okay? Unless you actually have understand how to form the hairline with your own kind of way of working there, okay? Work on it.
Okay.
All right, to get the rest of you guys to get, you guys can take a look basically, right? Okay, how actually your friend work on it. Learn also from there, right? Okay, she just get those kind of tablets. Okay, I think last week, right? Okay, good there, okay.
Last Friday.
Last Friday, there, okay. That means she basically had that kind of have built those understanding when she draw those traditional way of working, and now hopefully this digital kind of tool will give a bit more impact to change and to improve more on her presentations on the drawing itself, right? Even though whatever that we do right now is a very small amount of efforts there, guys, of experience basically how to draw things there, right? Okay? or illustrator. Okay, but it can basically change the way that you actually handle the tools and improve your design skills there. Even though in a minimum kind of efforts there, right? Okay, look like heavy, but it's not there, right? Okay? It's a minimum effort, but it's a strong core kind of process to develop your experience from here. How about the rest of you guys? Work on it, all right, guys. Okay. Right, always close your reference to see how actually your drawing line looks like. Right, okay.
All right.
Frequently, you actually right continue to draw them. Right, okay.
So,
Always close. Right, okay. See. Right, okay, how it actually works there. Right, okay. Whether the line works is right or not. Right, okay. At the same time, to works on that. Okay, remember guys, okay, whatever that we're going to do or we create basically on this kind of exercise, right, okay, it's all about how to develop your kind of the right way to draw the okay, skill, how to draw them, okay. Other than you implement basically some understanding how the basic structures of human kind of form. Basically, last week, basically we draw those human figures, okay, based on the reference itself, right? All those kind of things basically to develop basically our understanding on skill again. If I give you guys, for example, only to draw a very simple kind of what we call that examples there, but it basically also gives more effective, but the look and feel of your kind of drawing experience a bit kind of like less kind of effort that people saw there, okay, but basically it's still right there, okay. It will not give a lot of impact on your presentations because all the thing that we go through right now is all about presentations there. Present it well, so, okay, on in terms of developing your kind of skills there, not only to develop basically the right kind of knowledge and also improve more on your line works at the same time, so, okay, and how to present it basically, the thing that you guys learn here right now there, right, okay. Let me actually write
well,
basically are going to be prepare basically my kind of drawings over here first.
sir,
Yes,
sir, can I show you the my drawing?
I can, right? Who actually, right? Just now?
Here's the basic drawing and
Wait up,
the
huh?
structure.
Okay. Clarissa, you can actually right, okay, close your presentations there first.
Okay.
Okay. Looks okay there. Okay, look, you have developed a kind of understanding from here there, okay, Wei Chin.
Yeah. So
Now
I
actually,
actually
now you actually
separately
had
put it.
to improve more on your drawing line works for those roofs there, okay, for those roof there, okay. Don't trace
Okay,
them with those line there, okay. Don't look like you trace them there, okay.
I understand. I
Try
know.
to apply those kind of
No,
drawing line at the same time. Okay?
this is actually just like me trying out how to draw. I will change it later because I still want to experiment on how to draw the fur. Like
Yeah,
this can, right?
yeah. This one there, this one basically is more like a tracing line there, okay, rather
I
than
need
those
like the
drawing line.
fur here, like this part, like this kind of fur.
Yeah, yeah, it can be.
Can be used, right?
Yeah, it can be add more detail from there.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you continue them the right way? Try to continue
Uh,
them right way. Our reaching
uh, uh,
the way.
actually, I'm going to erase the line and draw the
No need to erase. Okay,
details.
you add new layers there, and then you need to draw back again. This one make it a part of those constructive line from there, okay. And of course, when you draw the basic structures over here, okay, try to make it the shapes look a bit more confidence, even though you actually draw a few number kind of time there, okay. The structures line there, right?
This one.
Hmm. Wait a while. Something like that.
But this can, right?
The lines works from there, right? Okay, good. But the eyes basically has to be improved more because it's a little bit more like
Human eyes.
human and so cartoon there, right? Okay, we don't draw cartoons yet there, okay. Try to add some shadings at the same time while we draw there, okay, but very light kind of shades there. I want to share my screen there for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, let me share my screen for a while there. All right, guys. Okay, just now, okay, what Jinwei what we call that show us there, okay. Draw the basic structures there, okay. First of all, if you can see there, okay, this kind of wolf there, okay, that has the constructive kind of what we call it, the line of actions that apply from this wolf there, okay. Basically, this is those what we call that the position of those what we call that the legs, okay, the front leg, all right. Basically, these are going to be those back leg there, right? Okay, see the connections there. Learn from there, right? Okay, the connection from those combination with all those lines all together. We know we actually don't draw entirely what we call the in details there. But I want you guys to understand, okay, the whole constructive line that apply from here, okay, the structures of those. Can you see the Jiang Wei there, okay? When I draw those kind of circles there, okay, the structures of those shapes that apply from these positions here, right? Okay, the primitive shapes that apply from here, triangles, okay, shapes, all right. Now basically I get those kind of what we call that. Try to gather some information to draw those body part there, right? Okay, that can divide into two, all right, okay, side over here, Then I'm going to add a bit kind of shades there, okay, for those legs there. So this is basically, okay, if you check it closely there, okay, this is basically some of the, when I actually try to draw them, it's not basically just want to show whether I can draw those shapes or not, okay, but I learn to study them back again, the whole structures here, all right? Draw the whole structures, okay, to develop that kind of understanding while we draw them. This is basically what we try to understand that with, okay? Because when we want to draw any animals later on there, okay, animals or beasts, you must be able to have this kind of understanding in your mind. Okay, when you draw them, sketch line, the whole thing's there first, right? Okay? Even though you want to draw those eyes over here, the shapes of it, the nose itself, okay, they can form all together those lines there, okay? All these kind of things will give you different kind of understanding and impact on your presentations and your drawings at the same time. Okay, see, this is basically the jawline, okay, like that. So on top of it, okay, if I want to make this kind of presentation a bit more understandable for me, all right, okay, we actually have done basically this kind of studies there, right? Studies over here to see the strokes, right? The structures, right? Sometimes I love basically to give a little bit kind of more understanding on my kind of way of working by, let's just say, browsing, okay, like a wolf skeleton there, right? Okay, you just want to give me more kind of understand kind of what we call that felt, and also what we call that knowledge there that I actually can bring from here, okay, that I can bring from here there, guys, okay. I would love basically that kind of uh, develop that kind of feeling and understanding there, okay, while I'm actually develop my skills here, okay. So what I can do from here, I can going to choose some of the reference which is can lead into my kind of studies there, right? So let's just I save these files for a while, all right? Because all this kind of knowledge, okay, even though you don't, if you don't want to apply, it's okay there, okay. But if you really want to try to explore a bit more further on your understanding other, because the most important thing that what you need to do, practice your strokes, the first thing. The second thing is the basic structures there that we actually have shown right here there, okay, using a primitive shapes there, okay, to apply from there, okay. And of course, okay, if you're really interested to develop a bit more further of your understanding there, right, okay, sometimes I will look into all this kind of research. This is a part of those important way why every designer sometimes need to apply those kind of research there, right? We basically can gather more information from here, okay, in order to give us basically a bit kind of like knowledge, experience, understand, and people don't actually question us anymore there, okay, because if you basically like have the same kind of what we call the experience, what I actually have been like later on, okay, in the futures there for your works, okay, you will basically going to gain some experience from the how to handle the people's there, okay, or clients there, for example, there, okay. But sometimes, okay, clients, people there, okay, they have a different kind of point of view, or sometimes they have a different kind of what we call that understanding there, okay. They don't trust basically that you eligible enough to work with your kind of studies and reference at the same time there, right? You basically the right kind of person that can develop all these kind of ideas all together for so many years there. So you have to show people yet that you actually have been study the whole thing seriously, okay, to develop this kind of skills there, okay. So what we can do from here, okay, this is what I think that I can share with you guys here there right now. Oops, it's nothing much right here, okay. Okay, multiply that first. So if I want to make my further study there, right, okay, take a look over here. Where I will basically love to construct basically back again my understanding. Okay, almost basically going to be basically closer there, okay, to our studies there, right? So right now, I can actually cut this part there, right? Okay, cut a bit, paste. Okay, we combine it image manipulation kind of methods a bit there, right? Rotate. Okay, put it a little bit more right here. Okay, this one basically can be cut and paste. All right, it's like a collage there, right? On a collage there. We mix them. Okay, we're not basically animal kind of what we call that studies there, right? Okay, we're not basically those zoologists there, okay, but we can actually use that kind of zoologists kind of what we call that studies there. Okay, to construct basically our understanding. Let's say, okay, I will take the right a bit, mix them up with my kind of understanding on the strokes and the structures at the same time here. Okay. This one basically going to be right here a bit. Of course, they're going to be bent over there, okay? I love all this kind of experimenting kind of stuff there, right? Because they give me basically a lot of more kind of knowledge there. This one should be right here. Okay, basically, okay, a bit kind of shorter there, okay, this part. There, right here. And this part basically going to bend over a bit there, right, okay? But we can actually reduce what we call that, recall them back later on there, okay? So all this all element together. Okay, we can actually study it, we can actually redraw back again. Okay, I just want to show you guys how it works basically on my studies there, right? So what I'm going to do right now there, okay, this part basically can be improved a bit more further later on. So what I'm going to do here is drawing number 1. All right, drawing number 2. From here, okay, I want to see a more kind of understanding on my kind of studies there, okay. What I can do there, okay, this part, there's a bone systems over here, and they're going to be the bone system also over here there, okay, that combine with, but we actually don't study basically quite details there, okay. You just want to have the suggestions line over here, okay. This is basically some of the strokes line that define basically the rib cage, okay. I'm using the contour line drawing there, guys, to work on that. See, contour line drawing, sketch line drawings there to develop the studies there, okay. Sometimes, okay, people will ask, okay, what the point of these studies there? When you have that kind of pure understanding on your kind of reference, easy for you to draw any subject matters later on, any creatures there, okay, because you have that kind of clear kind of understanding how actually the bone structure is going to be look like to effect basically those shapes of your own design there, right? Okay, this one basically are going to be right here a little bit. These are going to be right here. There's a 2 bones over there to work on that. Same goes to this part. All right. So simple kind of what we call that understanding there. Okay, the tails there, right? The tails there. Now basically this is basically those what we call that. The core basically those skulls there, okay? The eyes of those going to be right here. See? Can you have imagined, okay? how the bone structures are going to be affect the form of your design later on there, right? Okay. So if you take a look closely, okay, we don't have to use X-ray there, right? But we use the knowledge to develop basically our understanding from here by combining all those elements together using computers and technologies, right? Okay. So this is basically a part of it that artists, designers study there, guys. Okay, artists and designers study there, but not too deep there, okay? Not too deep there, okay? But if you love them, you can actually develop more kind of what we call that deep kind of what we call the studies from here. And later on, you can actually apply on your kind of illustration and styles there. It can be there, guys. It's why when people actually when you look at some of the artists actually draw the skulls a lot, okay? Because they have the kind of attention of develop the kind of subject matters there in different kind of way that works. Okay, that's basically one of the important things that you can see from here. Okay, the skull bone structure that have been connected together. Okay, but I'm using basically the contour line drawing and gestures line drawings to work on that. That's one thing there. Okay, you can apply if you want to. If you feel interested to apply them, go ahead. Okay, it's good for your studies there, and at the same times, you can basically apply both kind of discipline there. What kind of discipline do we try to apply over here? Illustrations, drawings, basic structures, and image manipulations kind of subjects there, that you guys been working on with the collage. Okay, but this one is a little bit literally basically is with more to develop your understanding there, to apply the techniques into your drawings. Okay. All right. Is it make sense there, guys? This one make sense there? To develop your understanding. Okay, this one
Yes.
is later, right? Okay, if you take a look carefully, how actually I start with circles. Sorry, that just become ovals there. Circles, triangle shapes. When you draw them back again, right, using those what we call that pencils there. Cylinders there, shapes. Square. More cylinders there, right? Okay, it can be applied. They can be improved there. Okay, circles then back again. Cylinders. All right, more small cylinders there, shapes. Combine all together there. This one that can be used as part of the shape of cylinders or combine it with the hexagon there, right? So all this kind of understanding when we try to draw now, okay, other than we controlling the basic structures at the same time there, they give you more insight of knowledge. We don't actually just draw them or learn to use those tools. At the same times, we learn to develop and to break down the shapes that we use. Okay, from circle. Okay, this is going to use a circle shape to develop kind of strokes there. Okay, the eyes they combine with diamond shapes, triangles at the same time there. Okay, to see from those point of view there. Okay, now we combine the triangles and triangles. Okay, to shapes over here. We mix that kind of shapes over here with the triangles back again. We cut them. These two triangles are one triangle into two shapes there. All right. Another triangles over here for the ears. This one we break down from those cylinders there. We break down into those what we call that square. Right, okay, we bend a little bit there, right? From here. Okay, from here, okay, a little bit more cylinders, but we try to get the kind of what we call that. We try to bend over those cylinders there from here. A bit more circles back again. Shapes of cylinders there, cone shapes, more cylinders right here. This one I can break down into another shapes there, right? So all this kind of information, when you draw them, right, okay, it will give you more kind of awareness, hopefully, right? If you don't find any awareness on this kind of elements, right, okay, when you draw, there's something weird about it that you have to see back again. How actually you're going to develop that kind of understanding from there. Of course, we can just trace them, we can draw them, but still, people don't understand the right kind of proportion from there. When you look carefully with your reference over here, how the shapes of these legs are going to be look like that, okay? See? You bend over a little bit here, there, right? So all these kind of things, okay, this one basically, right, okay, came from, okay, wait up. Okay. Let me change basically these brushes there first. All right. Take a look carefully, right, at the shapes of the form basically elements over here. This one there, right, okay? If you take a look closely, okay, they came from cylinders there, right? Okay. The shapes of it there. So from here, they can become from boxes. Break down here, the boxes there. You see the shapes here, right? That form all together. And then from here we break down, we break down the shapes with kind of details there, okay? Draw them back. So it will becoming from here. Sorry there, okay, I'm going to close this one there first. Okay, when you draw them back there, okay? If you don't have that kind of major understanding there, okay? You won't be able to draw these elements of this, what we call the claw, okay, the foot there, okay? Going to be look like this. You won't be able to understand that, right? See? The shapes that you break into, the structures there, right? Okay, when we apply them. So this is the one that, right, create some awareness when you draw them first. Because we don't simply just trace or draw them there, guys, okay? We don't just simply there, right? Okay? But we try to apply basically, okay, this one basically came on the strokes there, right? You see how I actually draw the strokes over here? Okay. Before I can add some shadings later on there, okay? To add some of the details on the flows at the same times, but not too much there, right? I can start any way that I want it, right? Okay. There. Okay. I can start any way that I want there, okay? But I choose to draw from the legs because just now basically we saw basically the different kind of positions. Okay, this one basically, okay, came from boxes there, right? There. So all this kind of understanding while basically you draw them has to be implemented on your drawings. Okay, it's not because should we draw this one? Is it basically if you actually apply that kind of drawings, it will give yourself a bit more understanding on your studies of these illustrations or not. Ask back again. It's not because we have to or we need to there, right? Okay, but is it basically going to give a bit more impact on your present? Because sometimes when people don't actually aware that, okay, the shapes of it, okay, then look carefully there, okay, from there. Okay, when you draw the eyes over here just now, okay, and wait there, okay. If I want to reduce a little bit on the opacities over here, so save the files there first. So how actually I'm going to draw them, okay? Of course, this part basically a bit more darker, but I didn't basically going to add some of the details yet, okay, or too much kind of tone there, right? Reduce a little bit there. Then if I want to basically, right, I'm going to draw them back later on, close these pictures there. You see the eyes itself, it looks like a human or a wolf there, right? Watch carefully when you actually want to add some shadings there from there. Okay, watch carefully when you want to add some shading. Okay, the nose trails over here a bit kind of different with the human there, right? Yeah. So when you draw those lines, Okay, just now, Clarissa, when you draw there, okay, most of your line is quite very thin there, okay. You kind of still afraid to move, okay. What we call that more natural leader, okay, when you draw them, right. But it can be improved, okay, furthermore later on when once you actually have been using this kind of brushes and tools, okay, and this and what we call that on the pen itself, okay, for quite sometimes just practice a bit more further there, okay, to give more kind of what we call that right now basically to give you a more comfortable kind of way of working, because right now if you don't actually write understand how the ear is going to be look like, okay, from here there, okay, this part basically the part basically can show basically the depths, okay, okay, the bevels there, okay, on those kind of hairline of strokes of this wolf there. Some of them basically I'm going to use a very rough kind of line there, okay, not rough but strong kind of strokes over here, see, to give a bit kind of impact on my kind of drawing and presentation at the same time there, right? You see here, okay, the drawing, the whole thing, right, okay, they become a bit more strong kind of strokes there, right? But it has to be look consistent at the same time, okay. How actually I'm going to show some consistency there, okay, by following the shadows and the tone there, okay. Those are the things that I actually try to do here right now. See, following the strokes based on the tone, okay. Some of the light tones I'm going to reduce a little bit on the line work there, right? But in drawings, or illustrations, we can improvise the line works to become a bit more softer there, okay, according to those styles that we're going to produce there, right? See, you can mix up also your tactics with the contour line if you want to, right? Sometimes I make mistakes a little bit, I just leave it there. It made it more expressive kind of line over here. Okay. Basically, this is going to be divided between the legs and also the tail. Otherwise, people don't actually understand, okay, whether this is a tail combined with the legs or whatever. So people sometimes make mistake from there when they draw them. So from here, I get the whole structures and drawings based on this wolf there. So if you take a look back again, my kind of studies and also detailing that I can try to apply from there, we can see the whole things are going to be mixed up and combined and joined together in a very more proper kind of way there. This is basically what the methods of how actually you're going to present your work for this week. And you can mix up also and add some detailings, okay? For example, if you want to add some detailings on the shadows there, right? Because there's no point basically you don't want to add more detailing there, right? Okay, so the best way, okay, you can use soft brushes back again. Okay, you can use those pencil brushes or some of the texture brushes if you want to. Okay, now I'm going to break down. Okay, I'm going to not break down. Basically, you're going to reduce my opacities of the flows only there, right? At the moment. And then I'm going to follow through the shadows based on size and the shapes. Okay, from here, right? I'm going to leave the highlight first. Right now, it's just the start. Okay, close this one for right here. Right? Some of the areas, but when I actually paint it, guys, okay, I didn't paint everything too dark there. Right? I leave some of the areas some space, close the pictures there first, to see basically the flows of my presentations. Okay, so it doesn't make a bit kind of like what I say. Okay, my kind of what we call that terms that I use is sloppy there. Okay, it's a little bit more like a dirty there. Okay, kind of shadows kind of line. Some people doesn't see this kind of shadows from here, but if you look carefully, there's a shadows line over here, and I change basically the way that I actually paint from horizontal kind of what we call that, vertical kind of what we call that. This is vertical kind of what we call that strokes into horizontals and curve a bit, okay, on those movements there. So don't worry about how detailed the fur line first, okay? Capturing the shadows there first. Adjust the size frequently, right? This one basically, if you see the light colors, like, it doesn't mean doesn't have any shadows there. Otherwise, they consider form of it. Right? Oh, sorry there, guys. I basically write color on the background there, right? Okay. Colors there. My mistakes. But check back again the layers all the time there, right? Okay. It's also important there. See? It's okay. So add the shadows back again, right? Check back again this part there, right? Add the shadows a bit more. There. Okay. Close these pictures, right? Okay. See basically the flows of the shadows that you actually apply from there. So the best way basically you're going to do, okay, you can actually write, copy this one, make it a bit more smaller or put the side there, right? So to start it with more further on your understanding on the shadows basically back again, not to make it a bit more like a too dark, too jump over to those kind of shadows there, right? But this is basically your base kind of areas of the shadows that you can apply from here before you can add more and more details there, right? But there's a lot of way to add some shadows there, guys, okay? But I'm choosing basically these methods at first because this kind of what we call that brush there, okay? It fits with the most of those new kind of what we call that comers there, okay? The new kind of newbies basically want to learn to paint there, okay? Can use basically can practice this kind of methods more easy than can use it to texture brushes there, right? Just slowly work on that. Exercise to focus on some of the areas over here, but don't press too much like this one there, okay? And I'm still working with the background there, see? Make those mistakes there. What I can do, select this one, cut, paste, okay? The shadows over here. Is it right here? This is what happened, guys. Okay, we draw too fast sometimes. You kind of like mix some of the mistakes there, okay, that you always felt not quite reasonable there. But if you have that kind of understandings, great, then you actually can just delete this first, right? Combine them back again. Okay, merge the layers there. Okay. And then we can actually continue to shade there, right? The shadows. No big deal there, guys. Right. It's no big deal there. Change the size frequently to see the flows of the shadows at the same time there, right? And what you can do also from here there, guys, okay, while basically you actually have that understanding on the whole details here, basically, okay, what I do, I try to mix up my kind of, okay, some of the areas I can press a bit more further on the details on there, right? So what I can do from here, I can change the brushes, okay, into pencil brushes. Then, see, and mix them up there, right? With some sort of textures line. Too dark from here. Okay. Round a little bit there, okay, on the textures over here. Okay. If you're afraid you make mistakes sometimes, okay, you can actually add new layers there, okay, to work on that. So the main kind of objective for these uh, drawings there, okay, I'm not trying to imitate those kind of drawings to become a bit more realistic there, okay, but I try as close as I can to mix up basically my kind of drawings. It's to study basically my structures there, to make sure that I can actually learn how to get some of the textures and the methods of my kind of studies there a bit more closer and closer to the reference there, right? That's basically my main objective here, okay? But it will came naturally, all right, to see basically those kind of drawings become a bit more closest to the perfections there. But right now, basically, I'm not actually focused on those detailing there, right? But it will came naturally when I mixed up those structures and strokes there, right? But if you put stress on your kind of understanding, try to what we call that made it, okay, I want to draw this kind of thing. If you set in your mind, okay, the mindset, okay, I want to draw as close as a realistic, okay, so people can actually write. For example, sometimes people always have this kind of mind, okay, people will praise me because of my kind of what we call that understanding and skills there, right? Okay, that I can show people basically I can draw well, basically like this one, right? Okay. Sometimes if you put too much stretch there, okay, they won't basically get that kind of uh, quality of understanding there because you try so hard there, okay, to impress someone else but not yourself, right? Because when to study there, okay, we try to make it right, okay, those kind of understanding while we study there, not because of perfections there, right? Okay? Because I didn't actually seek for any perfections in each of my drawings there, but it will came naturally while basically you develop that kind of understanding at the same time. Okay, wait, when they add some shadows a bit here, okay, just to add some of the ground, even though we don't have any ground from there, right? You can actually add some of the suggestions there, right, okay, on the ground there. And you can add more and more details of that, okay, if you want to. Okay, from this kind of what we call that uh, studies on those wolves there, right? And of course, from here, you can basically use erasers there. Okay, using erasers, I think these brushes there, right? Okay. Can I use Carl Ultimate brushes as an erasers? Then you can right, save your files there first. Erasers, change the size. When you change them to those erasers, you can't there, right? But what you can do here, there, right? And I use this pressure size because the new version sometimes you can actually combine those eraser brushes with the paint brushes, right? What I can do from here, I can actually see, reduce the opacity there first. I didn't erase them, but the flows. Basically, what I do I try to adapt this kind of fur line. The fur line basically, right? Okay, it apply from those strokes, okay, for these animals there. You see that, right? A little bit a bit more bigger kind of size there, okay, on the brushes there at the same times. To work on that. You see? Sometimes I add a little bit what detailings over there, okay, like tap a little bit there, right? But all these kind of methods can be mixed up around later on with the shadings there. Brush a bit back again. Some shadings a bit more. Mix them up, right? Erase. But not erasing those mistakes, okay, but I add some shadings there, okay, on the fur line. So that's what erasers for there, right? Not to erase our mistakes, but I add basically some fur line from there. And some shadings for brushes over here, back again. Mix them up all together there. Okay, so that's basically one of the methods that we can actually explore at the same time that it works on that. Okay, a lot of things we can do from it if you want to, there. Okay, and some of it, okay, when you actually have developed this kind of understanding on the line works at the same time, this one actually going to arrange different kind of gradient size, okay, for the skull, skeletons, and structures at the same time over here. All right. So to make it more blending there, okay, on the whole presentation at the same time. Okay, if you take a look closely there, right, I've mixed up all together those kind of elements together to develop that kind of understanding there. And of course, okay, from here, so these images that we have here, there, right, it's a reference to what you can do for your presentations there, right, okay. The thing that I always do, okay, from here, I will basically mix them around with some of sort of like shadows there, okay, or backgrounds kind of styles there, okay, that give more impact on my presentations there at the same time, right? But not too much over here. See, this one is too much. Okay, from here sometimes using erasers, right? You see, I draw basically some of those grasses there, right? The techniques there, okay, different techniques that you works. Using brushes back again, you can use pencils to add some of the details there, right? but not too much there, right? Because uh, the main kind of what we call the events right now basically is a subject matters there. You see the different kind of impacts of your kind of presentations when you actually mix them around all together, your kind of way of working with your illustrations there, right? Okay. So this is basically the thing that we want to practice at the same time, okay? To learn about the anatomies, to learn the structures there, to learn about the shadings and details there, and the tools that we're going to use at the same time that works on that. And there's more for you can do from here in this, because this is basically I try to apply a very short time that works on that. And some of the areas over here you can actually erase some of the details there. Some of the what we call that sloppy kind of mixture that they actually have done during the process of working there. Okay, I want to show you guys some sort of like other things that I can do from these presentations there, right? Okay, let's just say I'm going to, this is basically the shadings, okay, the shadings there, right? Let's just say I, sorry there, right, paint a little bit more, okay, those background there, right? This, for example, like this one there, right? So what I can do from here, I want to make the presentation a little bit more glowing there, okay, on this wolf there, right? Okay. So what I can do, right, okay, from here, I'm going to use erasers, but adjust the flow a bit. I'm going to put some sort of like glowing effect there, right? These characters there, okay, on the subject matters over here. It's like a radial kind of blur there, right? I'm using different kind of brushes normally for it. I'm erasing those kind of background back again, right? This is also one of the methods and techniques in illustrations, which is I didn't actually show a lot, okay, but I think I want to give you guys some example over here, but later on, the students from other what we call that classes can take advantage also on this kind of methods for your kind of goods directly. You see the shadows itself, okay, it's nothing there without those stroke, the line strokes there. The line strokes will show basically a bit kind of what we call that kind of strong kind of element from there. Okay, from here basically, right, I want to add a bit kind of highlight back again. See, highlight back again there, right? Yeah, that's a bit right. Highlight a bit over here. See the different kind of presentations there, okay, that we actually apply. Just back again, the flows too much, okay, because too strong the flows there. Yeah. Can you see it, guys? How actually can give those impact on your presentations there when you actually use the right kind of way of working with your brushes there. Erasers that we do there, okay, is not to erase our mistakes, but we try to adapt a bit more further on our understanding to enhance our illustrations here. So what else that we can do from here? Okay, just now basically I want to experiment with this kind of shadowing. There are those kind of glows there, right? Using different brushes over here. Let me try that first, whether it's going to be work or not. Oops, tone there, right? White colors there. It's a bit kind of opacity, right? See? I just tap there, guys. Tap there, right? See the glows there, okay? Can you see some like a photographic kind of looks there, right? See? Not magic there, guys. Look like a glow there, right? It will shine more on your illustration there, especially when you draw portraits, okay? For example, there, right? Okay. This is basically one of the techniques that we apply from traditional way of working with these methods, right? Okay? With this kind of what we call that, this kind of techniques here, okay, in digital kind of media here. Okay, you guys get it? I'm using basically this brushes over here, this hard round pressure opacity. Adjust the opacity a bit there, okay, if you want to, and then you can actually add and tap the okay. Tap slowly there to work on that. See, if kind of like the very glowing romanticism, kind of what we call it, effects on those illustrations there. Okay. There's more thing we can do from me if I want you to like pencil hard brushes, white colors there, glow. Actually can actually write that. Add a bit kind of detailings there if I want to directly. Add more detailings directly. So the more things that you're going to add, okay, a bit kind of detailings again, it will run you a bit kind of time, but it's based on your kind of purpose there, okay, and also your kind of commitments that you want to put into your illustrations, right? To be more deeply kind of detailings there from here. Okay, change the brush back again. Some of the areas I can actually add a bit more details. Okay, so this is basically to practice basically your kind of eyes. Okay, to see some of the details that you can actually implement on your drawings at the same time while you actually practice them. Okay. You see those kind of impact on those visuals there when it comes to, you don't have to use those colors there first, learn to colors there first, okay? Grayscale kind of tone also can be have a good impact if you actually develop the right kind of tone there from it. All right. All right, any questions? Anyone to share some screen? Anyone want to share some screen again? Try this kind of methods and techniques there. Works on that.
Me?
Okay, good. All right.
Hello. Yeah, me.
Yeah. What you want to share just now? Okay, guys, okay, look carefully how actually I work on that, all right? And later on, I'm going to upload back again my demonstration at the same time there, right? Who actually want to share just now? Ming Hao? Going to share screen, is it?
Yes.
All right, good.
I said.
Okay. You're preparing the right. I can't see your screen, Ming Hao.
My one is not good.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, lacking. Can see it?
Where is it? Yeah, we can see that, right? But we kind of
Okay.
lagging. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, Ming, how do okay, when you actually add some shadings there, okay, please don't actually add too dark there at first.
This is completely normal like this.
Okay. You can reduce your opacity at the same time there, right? Huh?
Okay.
Can you reduce basically the alignment kind of line works? Can you zoom in a little bit there, right?
Okay.
I
Well,
want to see how actually you form basically those nodes there, okay?
very normal.
And the line works of the nose naming how, okay? I didn't draw like this one there, right? Okay.
Uh,
Okay, change back again there, okay?
okay.
Improve the line work of the nose, lips, eyes at the same time there, right? I
Okay.
think you have to be more because the whole structure that we develop, okay, if you don't actually understand the skeleton's look and feel on those structures, okay, don't draw the skeleton there, okay, don't draw the skulls there, okay.
Hmm.
Focus on your line works that you produce when you draw on top of the layers from your reference only there, okay. I draw the
Okay.
skull because I want to study more better detail, but if you see a little bit kind of weird from here, try to improve more on your strokes and your understanding how to draw the proper kind of elements from the nose, eyes, and lips, and the rest
Oh,
of it first there, okay?
okay.
Hmm.
Thank you.
All right, improve on the nose. The line work of the nose, I'm not going to draw like that, right? Okay, this look weird there. Okay, look like a cartoon rather than those full thread there, right? Okay?
Hmm.
Hmm. Whereas basically you're sharing there, right? I mean, how? The line doesn't look well there, right? Doesn't look good.
Uh, okay. I crossed it already.
Just share there, right? Okay? Continue
Okay.
working on it. I want to see how actually going to be work there. Improve when you draw those eyes. I didn't draw the eyes like that, I mean how?
Okay.
Nose, all right? Look back again how actually I draw them just now, there, right?
Move back.
Mm. Okay, even though I'm using different reference timing how,
Hmm?
check look
Deeper.
how actually I draw those eyes there, right? And nose and lips.
I know I'm trying to remake this area.
Mm. Okay, check look here, okay, guys. Okay, carefully back again. Let me share my kind of demonstrations, kind of samples over here. Okay, let me upload back again. So you can see the difference there, right? You have to refer to the reference there, okay, when you draw them, but you can improvise later on there. Right?
Hmm.
Mm. All right, the best naming how, okay, try to draw another eyes there, okay, using new drawings, the new kind of drawings there. Right? Because if you try to manage to erase and redraw back again on top of these drawings again, they're going to become more worse and worse there, right? Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
Chung.
Try to draw the new drawings there, what we call that. I mean, how
Hmm?
don't actually just try to repair these mistakes there.
Oh,
Draw the drawings there based on the reference. I want to say how actually you work on that. Reduce the opacity a bit, okay, on the on the reference.
hmm. I redraw a new try for
Okay. Are you sure the shape of the circle is going to be look like that there, right?
uh,
Hmm. Draw the circle properly there, right? Are you sure the nose look like that, all right?
uh, is
If the alignment that you draw basically are going to make yourself more confused to draw the whole structures, try to avoid them first, that way.
uh,
Because when we draw the alignments, we want to make sure that we understand how the shapes are going to turn out when you want to draw them,
mm,
right? But when you draw them also, okay, if you hesitate and you not draw correctly, what's the point? Basically, you draw the basic structures there. What's the point of it there, right? As you guys, ask you back the questions there, why you actually have to continue with the basic structures there. By right, you're drawing wrong with it right there. Hmm. Have you noticed them? Okay, I'm not actually draw like that. I didn't show you to draw like that, right? Hmm. entire time when I actually demonstrate to you guys, I did not draw like that. But you keep on doing this thing that you don't understand. That's the problem here. Are you sure they're right? The shape's going to be look like that. Huh? That's why I say, right? Study the primitive shape that form basically those structures of the elements closely and carefully there, okay? And without those kind of structures, okay, can you actually draw correctly? Without
Uh,
the basic structures, can you draw correctly there, right?
hmm. Keep
All right.
trying.
You keep trying, but you need to draw harder there, okay? You need to try harder, okay? Don't try to mix them up until you the one who get confused there. Ah, right now you're confusing yourself there, right? Okay. Okay. Learn carefully, right? Okay, why actually we did all these kind of elements all together there, okay? I think without this kind of basic structures, you can actually focus on your drawings, methods there, okay, to apply to draw those kind of portraits. I want you to draw those eyes there first. Just
Okay.
draw the eyes there, okay, without having the structures, complicated kind of structures here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm. Why basically you have to change those brushes that you have? You can draw basically using those brushes if you want to. Right. That's why I say you mixed up all these kind of methods all together, then you don't understand where, how, or when you actually going to be applied that right correctly.
Hmm.
I did show you guys step by step that how it works. You don't apply them. I asked you to reduce the opacity there first. On these photos, you don't apply them yet. That's how actually you can get the line works right. Right now, you draw on top of those photos there, right, Ming Hao?
Oh.
You draw on top of the photos there. Okay? Uh, Control Alternate Z there, okay? Control Alt Z there, okay? You cannot erase them there, right? Huh?
Hmm.
Reduce the opacity there first. Okay, those pictures that you want to draw, reduce the opacity there first. You cannot see from here, there, okay? I cannot see those line work there, right? Ming
I
Hao,
can. I can see.
I can't see there, right? Hmm. Okay, obviously, I can see that okay, you try to trace them, not draw them.
Okay.
All right, you trace them, not draw them there, okay? That's basically the thing that I saw, obviously, from your works over here, there, right? But let me share my screens over here. All right, take a look at Ming Hao.
Hmm.
How
I
it
was.
is going to be work on that. You guys see my screen over here?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how actually I'm going to draw them? Just now, basically, you try to trace them the right way.
Mm.
You trace them the right way. That's basically what you do. Like, draw them basically there, right? Can you see how I actually move my hands over here?
Ah, can.
Can you guys see how actually I draw basically using the structures there, right?
Mm.
If I using the pencil tools, which is that you just actually apply before this, right? This is how actually I draw them there, right? See? Control the pressures there, please. This is basically the iris there, right? This is basically the parts of those the eyes there, right?
Mm.
Can you see them in how actually I draw them,
Yeah, I see it.
right? Can you see how actually I move my hands there, okay?
Mm.
Right? To draw the cursor line over there. This is basically the drawing line that you should produce them in how. The rest of you guys who have that kind of, I change the size. See? How I actually control the pressures there, okay? When I'm using pencil there. I think Ming how okay? Try not to use those ink brushes that first. If you don't try to develop that kind of understanding to draw using those pencil line there, right? Pencil brushes there, okay? You see there, right? So the highlight will came over here, okay? If you take a look closely, and I'm going to etching there, right? Shadings.
Mm.
You see that, Ming how?
Ah, I see.
How actually are shadings there, right?
Ah.
Am I actually hesitate? No, there, right?
Mm.
So most of the oriented, okay, this time I'm shading still a bit there from here, and I'm shading still a bit there, okay, and the shadows there. You need to practice your drawings line, I mean how. The rest of you guys who have this kind of possibility, okay, just now that you draw, okay, you draw those line works like this, you draw the line work like this, okay. You don't understand why you should do those kind of line works there, okay. Why don't you actually draw them back on the layers there, please? Can you see the right how I actually draw them? Control the pressures at the same time. Start with this kind of line over here. Render this part over here a bit there, right? And then start to adjust the size. Draw the depth of field of those kind of nose like this part basically.
Mm.
So you need to practice your line works here. Okay? I didn't draw the line works like this. Just now you draw the line work like this, okay, for those the other kind of what we call that reference there, okay? Those front view kind of images there. So right here, basically, okay, if I want to draw the eyes, okay, from this side, you see how actually I draw the eyes there?
Ah.
Draw the curved line over here. Press basically back again the strokes to indicate basically the eyelids at the same times. Now I draw basically the eyes is part over here, okay? You see half of it, the iris at the same times.
Mm.
Etching them. I etching a little bit there and leave some highlights over here. So your job is right now basically, right? Try to understand how to move the strokes in the right way. This is basically the thing that we've done basically for the horse drawings there, right? Remember the horse drawings there? So this is basically the task that we did basically for the horse drawing there, right? And then we draw basically those kind of line works over here. And increase the size of those brushes. Try to add a bit kind of detailings and also flows of those hair that right? Even though this kind of exercise were a part of those exercises that we in week, I think 7 or week 5 there, right? But it can be applied also in this drawing. Don't try to basically say, oh, I get confused. You get confused because you don't practice your drawings. You don't practice your craft really well there, okay?
Mm.
Because that's why, okay, you don't actually understand what you're trying to do over here. I didn't actually draw the whole thing there, okay? Because everyone had a different kind of treatment there, right? And for you, basically, there, okay, Minghao, and it's maybe some of the rest of the guests who don't, I didn't actually look at your drawings there because you're afraid basically to show you guys that. Thanks you, Minghao, there, okay, because you actually brave enough to show basically what basically you've been go through, struggling with that. So right now, okay, the guys, can I see there, okay? Can you guys see there, okay? In a short times, using the same methods that we're supposed to do directly, you can get a good kind of strokes of drawings there. All right?
Mm.
Not based on the structures, not based on the constructive line, but based on those understanding how to draw them in the right way. Because this is basically the thing that we should actually apply first when you draw them to control the pressures in the right way before you get to add all this kind of details there, right? Okay, here's the size, right? Clarissa, you can actually look also, okay, from here if you want to, there, okay, how actually I draw them. Okay, I'm going to indicate some of those patterns for those ears and add some shadings a bit from here, all right? Because for those who have that kind of understanding, how to control the pressures really well, okay? How actually I draw the hairline, basically, okay? I can use basically different kind of methods of shadows, of arranging those kind of strokes if I want to. But I choosing using pencils there first, you see, and adjust the size at the same time to draw some of the shadings there. But the flows, okay, the flows that actually apply based on the hair strokes, okay, based on the hair strokes there, okay, based on the hair strokes there. So from here, when you actually have that kind of confidence, okay, have that confidence to work with those ink brushes. Yes, this is basically the time for you to add those details if you want to. Okay, right, Minhao?
Okay.
You see, mix them up the right way. Remember, guys, okay, when you try to apply something, make sure you understand why you have to apply them. Don't just simply draw them, but you not actually take a good kind of attentions on your kind of understanding while I'll demonstrate to you guys over here. Okay? See, I can mix them up there, right? I can mix them up, but not too much there, right? Huh? That's what I say, guys. Knowledge is really important right here. Okay, build up those knowledge when you use the tools. Okay, not only just everyone have the same tools, everyone have the same hands. There, okay, the same kind of what we call that capability to work on that. But the point is, right now, do you actually apply the right kind of methods that works? If you actually look carefully how actually I move my hands over here, looks like I simply actually draw them, okay, but it's not. I'm using the flows of it to draw them, okay, to flow, to use the flows of it, okay. Sometimes it can be a little bit more sketchy, all right, sketch line and mixed up around. And sometimes we don't have to sketch it. We can actually add some of the details there. So this kind of drawing, basically, I mix them all together with basically what we call that all this kind of drawings, kind of what we call that methods that we actually have been go through, okay, for the rest of few weeks there, okay. So that's why I say to you guys there, okay, practice every day there, okay, those techniques there, okay, that you actually been what we call that introduced to you guys there, okay. So from here, all right, can you see that, okay, all the line works, basically the sketch line, everything there, okay, that I actually try to apply. Then I'm going to mix that around with the soft brushes, reduce the opacity back again, right? Adjust the size, okay? Now I can paint it, right? According to those reference. The light came from this side. So when I actually want to add some detailing there, okay, thank you, what we call that, what we call that, I mean, how just not right, is it? Brave enough to show basically those kind of ability. Thank you, Derek. Thank you. I appreciate Derek. So I can see basically you're struggling from there. Okay? You can see those struggling from there, right? Now, don't worry there, right? So learn slowly, right? Okay? Adjust the size there, right? Okay? Because I don't want to make the presentation so a little bit more like what I would, my word basically just not sloppy there, okay? Because look chomod or maybe it'll be kind of like dirty kind of line there. It's good to have the very slowly kind of progress to add some of the details. See, if I want to draw this kind of nose kind of line works, okay, I didn't draw them, but I'm shades them there. I shades them there. That's basically the values that actually we create from each kind of exercise, okay? It will show basically your kind of understanding when you draw them. But, because, like I said before, practice every day, right, guys? The tool is in your hand, right, okay, to work on that. If you don't actually write, use those kind of advantage moment that you have here, right now. You develop all this kind of great kind of what we call the experience there. You will find a lot of hard way basically, and you don't actually gain any benefits, okay, from all these lessons if you don't practice too much, if you don't practice a lot, right? The quickest way that actually try to produce, okay, to add some sort of value on my presentation at the same time, we can add more and more later on. Draw those eyes. I did show you guys a lot already how to draw those eyes, not too complicated already. Study the shape itself, okay? 3 different kind of steps that it works. And we can add some highlights over here. Show basically the eyes that has a alive there, right? So I basically have introduced you guys a very, sorry, right, this one. I did basically show you guys, right, some of the simple methods basically to work on it, but you have to practice a lot from here. It won't help you guys much, right, if you don't actually follow exactly what I actually have show to you guys to develop basically this kind of methods of working with this particular kind of brush. This is a 3 different brushes that we use only there. 3 different brushes that we use all the times to work with this exercise, right? And also the project itself, okay? But you have to be more experimentative to develop that kind of understanding at the same times. All right. I'm using basically back again those erasers just to add some glows on the lips there, right? And this part basically those eyes. Even they also can draw basically some erase, add some actually details on the hairline, but this is basically a very sketchy kind of line work style there, right? That I produce right now. I will add some sort of shadows over here, a bit more. Not shadow, the background there, right? More glowy there, right? Okay, like here. What we call that some contrast. So the next thing that I can do, use those hard round precious line strokes, brushes there, and then add the glows effect there, right? See? Very interesting, right? So hopefully you guys learned some of the different kind of way of working today, because this kind of methods I did a lot of this kind of what we call that methods, right? When basically I developed basically my kind of illustration, especially portrait illustrations there. Okay. We take a look at guys, okay, the quality of what we can do from there. Okay, how far basically you need to practice yourself to improve back again your confidence at the same time there, right? So all these kind of things matter there, guys. Hard works always beat talents there, right? Okay, hard work always beat talents there. So you must be able to develop that kind of understanding. First of all, there, right, Gaming, how what we call that develop the kind of understanding to control the stroke there first. Okay, using the brush strokes there, okay, using the pencil brush stroke there first. Okay, add the right kind of detailing from there, because if you check look closely there, okay, I'm using basically different brushes over here. This is basically those patterns that I saw from those notes. Triangle shape there, right? Okay, from here, okay, if I want to draw them, okay, the shapes of those eyes, the shapes of the lips, All right. So how actually going to work the shapes of those? What we call that ears there, right? Okay. So from here, okay, how actually we're going to draw them? Triangle shape that actually apply directly from here. Circle there, okay. 3 different circles there to combine all together there, okay, to work on that. So from here, I can cut these areas, okay, to draw the shapes of the nose there, okay. The nose there, right. From this side, from this 3/4 view there, right, okay. To draw 3/4 view, okay, there's a lot of things that you need to learn, okay, but this is a part of it. So the line works from here, break down into triangles, and this part basically, right, okay, they divide into the center point are going to be right here, all right, the center point there, right, okay. So we break down the center point into a bit kind of to the right side. That's why we actually end up to draw the shapes look like this one there, right. The eyes over here, right, okay, the eyes, the shapes of the eyes who came from this particular shape there, right, okay. The eyes are going to be put right here. So if you don't understand the shapes of it, okay, how actually are you going to draw them? That's why you make a lot of struggle mistake from there. See, 1, 2, and 3. Obviously, there, guys. Okay, you guys can see 1, 2, and 3 there. Okay, and you can draw on top of the layer to get to develop that kind of understanding there. The ears itself 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you break down the shape back again. Draw them, and you actually divide this kind of elements like this. If you cannot there, okay, that means there's no point basically you learn this, practice back again your drawing line at first, and then go back into this one when you actually have that kind of confidence to control your brushes there. But you still can actually go back and forth to work on that. It's all based from your kind of efforts there to work on that. There's a lot of things that we can do from it if you want to directly. Basically, they draw the structures of those head there, right? Okay. This is basically the center point there, right? So I bring the center point into this side because 3/4 view, break down the shapes over here into those, what we call that square line there, okay? And the alignments that I can use okay, to draw them a bit more curved there, okay? Because they show basically the positions of these women basically came from 3/4 view there, okay? From here. So the hairline at the same time, okay, to shapes, okay, the hair structures, okay, has to be what we call that redeveloped there, okay. All this kind of thing that we try to develop here, okay, it came from our studies to develop our understanding there, but it has to be developed frequently from time to time. The okay, to works on that, and of course, okay, what I told you before, there, okay, all these kind of developments won't be able to get a useful for you guys if you don't practice your way of drawing the right way. That's why when we saw basically Ming Hao just now, when he tried to draw basically the whole thing there, okay, one of the reference there, okay, suddenly the pictures look a bit more like old lady, right? Okay, young lady become old lady there, okay. Why? Because your kind of drawing strokes doesn't match basically with your kind of reference that you want to draw there, right? You don't actually match them up, right? You don't practice much on your stroke there, right? I know it's not that easy there, Kim Hao and the rest of you guys. But if you can actually apply the contour line drawing back again, can I see, right? Where is it, the contour line drawings? Here, right? The contour line drawings there. And mix them up with the line works, sketch line works, drawing kind of works there all together, okay? All this kind of thing has to be done frequently. You can actually expect to draw the whole thing. You can actually become good at what you do there, right? Okay, in a very short time there. You have to enjoy your process of working. You need to enjoy basically your kind of developments. All right. Can you see how actually I draw them? Am I actually put a lot of efforts from there? No, they're right. So, but all this kind of way of working, right, we came from our lessons that we did before, right? Sometimes if I want to tipu, basically basically I'm going to what we call that cheat a little bit. Some people there, okay? I will try to mix up photos and also drawings here. Okay? When you see that, okay? I mix them up all together. It show basically like, oh, detail in there, but it's not. Okay, what computer can do to trick people through, okay, basically it's true. Basically it's true there, guys. Right? We mix them up, all these kind of elements together if you want to. Okay? So it's up to you to want to develop a smarter way, hard way, or your own way that you works on that. Okay? So if you actually concerned about your understandings, try to change, try to improve, try to enjoy more practicing your craft, right? Okay? Because I did actually give you guys some examples that even though for me, yes, it's not enough. Try to seek more, try to read more, try to look more at my kind of what we call that suggestions of books, reference, and practice, enjoy more practice to develop from there. If you don't actually work on that, no one can actually force you to change, except yourself. Okay? So Ming Hao, the rest of you guys, be brave to develop a kind of understanding there, okay? But you need to enjoy your kind of process of working. If you don't enjoy them, no one can. Right? I enjoy myself to teach you guys, to train you guys, to show you guys, to demonstrate to you guys all the times. I try to find some effective way all the time to work on that. I try hard enough to work on that. And based on the time that we have. Okay? Time that we have here. So you guys have more energy than me. So why don't you actually push a bit more further from there and enjoy yourself. This is going to be fun there, right? Okay? Because it's not that bad, that Ming Hao. You actually have done a major changes, I think, in your life, okay? But please enjoy more further to develop kind of be patient at the same time and be passionate to develop your skills there. You will get it right. Because if people who don't have this hand can draw well, why we can't, right? Okay? It's a matter of time, skills, and efforts, and work there, okay? How actually you're going to sacrifice from there? You will get it right. Because nowadays, there's a lot of resources other than this 2 or 4 hours in our session that you can get also, okay, to increase more on your understanding there. But don't try to say, oh, I learned from the YouTube, okay, it's more better than what my class, okay? Yes, of course, you can learn better from there. Prove it there, right, okay? But you have to understand one thing there, guys, okay? Whatever knowledge that we can gain, what put that, okay? Thought, okay, they obsessed with some things, but they try to blame with other things there. The thing is right now, the process of we actually want to observe and absorb all this information takes time. Whatever that you have in my kind of experience right here, there, okay? Can get right, Chuping? Basically, it's a part of the process to absorb all those informations there. Our brain needs time to digest, okay? Sometimes when you actually take a look at some of the informations, YouTube channel, whatever that you saw from the internet, okay? Suddenly, okay, your kind of brain start to process correctly from there. Because then you have trained your brain to think, okay? You can share that, okay, if you want to, right? So that's why basically, suddenly the information that you actually gather and also you train them back, they become a bit more easy, okay? Because our brain basically have that kind of have been used to work in a certain kind of way that we want, okay, to absorb all these information there. So as we get matured, we can focus more better there, okay? Depending also on the what we call the knowledge that we're going to bring over there, right? So be patient to work on that. Okay, Ming Hao? All right, thank you very much for sharing there. Like Clarissa just now, right, okay, who actually have shared. Okay, and the rest of you guys. So I already sent my work at WhatsApp. Can you help to check? Why don't you share right here? I will take it back again later on, right? Okay. So guys, okay, any questions?
Sir,
Yeah.
do we still need to submit the structure drawing, or we can just straight away submit the detail one?
Basically, it's up to you guys there, okay? You think properly back again, right? Okay. I'll draw the structure because I know that I want to develop more understanding from there. But if you think the structures are going to get you more confused, right, okay, on those things, right, okay, you need basically to change there, okay, first, okay, improve more on your drawing styles, okay, for a while, okay. So this one basically from, okay, let me share my screen there first. Okay, can you see my screen over here? All right, this one from, who is it? Okay, let me check here. Chipping, right, okay, chipping, right. Okay. All right, chipping basically, okay. So yes, controlling the strokes quite good there, okay. From here, you can see that, okay, you have the major good kind of understanding there to align all those kind of elements all together good there, okay. And then we can see how actually you're going to. Right now, basically, chipping actually have add those base color at the same time, okay, to work on that. Okay, nice try from that, okay. So right now you get to add some of the details there, right? Okay. I apply this kind of refined kind of the stroke at the same time, there, guys. Okay, to work on that, the chipping, all right, and then add a bit more kind of details there. Look carefully to the some of the major details that you can see from there, just like chipping have done, okay. If those kind of structures line alignment that she apply, okay, right, basically, right, will give benefit to your understanding, good, all right. Like just now Ming Hao try to do, okay, it's okay, but the problem is when you draw basically the portrait inside in the front view, okay, when you apply basically the stroke Ming Hao, we can see that you haven't understand yet how to develop the right kind of strokes and structures at the same times. Don't just try to apply something that you don't understand, okay? Because I don't know basically what basically you have in mind, okay? But I try to assume only, okay? If I'm wrong, please let me know there, okay? Maybe sometimes if you mix them around, all these informations all together, you will get confused. That's what I say. Learn back again. Each one of you guys have the different kind of ability that you actually can apply that, okay. So why don't you actually learn to develop one step at a time, okay. I saw basically Ming Hao, you have struggled with the drawing strokes there first, okay. Why don't you actually just draw on top of the layers, improve your drawing strokes, and improve also your understanding to draw the structures line really well, the, the the drawing line really well there first. After you get the line works right, then you develop the structures line. Okay, the alignments that you actually try to apply, try to make just like chipping is not right now, okay. She tried to make a very minimal kind of line works over there or reduce your opacity at the same time. Don't when you try to draw the align kind of line there, okay, kind of what we call that works for your drawings there. Don't let those line works mixed up with your drawing line, and then you get confused how to add some of the details. Okay, that's basically you have to understand it, right? That's why when you try to apply some things, make sure you can get some understanding from there. Don't just simply follow without learning the process of working there. Okay, I think when I actually do a lot of demonstrations on a drawing, basically, right, okay, the eyes, all right, this part basically, okay, that I actually have shown you guys a lot, right? I have shown basically you guys a lot of samples there before that we could draw them, right? Okay, but how to draw the eyes actually in the right way, directly, all these kind of parts, okay? But sometimes people don't actually look and pay more attention how actually I draw them, and we don't apply them back. That's why it's hard for you to make those kind of changes on your stroke at the same time. That's basically what I actually have been observed there, right? Okay. If I'm wrong, basically, right? Okay, maybe you actually have that kind of more reasons, more practical reason why you actually cannot make it right. Okay, but it's not that bad, I mean how, but the techniques, the methods, a bit kind of mixed up, right? Okay, you don't focus there. That's why you change basically during the process of drawings, not painting the right. Okay, you try to change frequently your brushes there. By right, you can use one brush only to draw first. Then, when you actually complete those kind of drawings, you can mix up with the shading, shadows, detailing there, combined with those different kind of brushes there, right? Okay, that's basically Ming Hao, what I saw from your kind of weakness there, right? Okay, that you actually can improve there, right? Okay, so don't worry there. It's good basically you show that we can see basically your struggle there. Otherwise, I can't see there, okay, whether you how actually you make it through from there. I just saw basically the final results. Then I assume, okay, the student need to pre-practice more. That's all. Now we can see basically from life how actually your struggle you can be from there. So my kind of suggestions for those who actually have that kind of same kind of problem like me, how improve more on your sketch line drawing stroke first. You can mix up with those. You can mix up with the contour line drawings and the sketch line drawing. That's basically the core foundations from there. Then control the pressures really well. Start to draw the structures back again from the primitive shapes. Go back to the revisions kind of methods, how actually you're going to start from that kind of basic kind of forms there and try to seek more. There's a lot of things we can do there, guys, okay? You thought basically, let's just say, okay, I don't want to do all our sketches, okay? Yes, fine. But how many times basically you try to avoid, if you try to avoid a lot of works, you still have to improve more, okay, and do a lot of work at the same time, okay? Because what I did for myself in more than 30 years, okay, around 30 years, okay, I draw a lot. You guys only 7 weeks, okay? Comparing to that, okay, how much work do you done right now? If you thought basically you're not having a very sleepless night, you're having a sleepless night, okay, doing the process of doing those assignments, it's nothing there. It's nothing there, guys, comparing to what I actually have done, okay? So that's why if you want to be good at it, enjoy more. And you don't actually feel that you're doing those assignments there. You feel that you're enjoying yourself to develop your kind of skills and it's a part of your routine from now on. Okay? Any questions? Thank you there, okay, Chipping, for sharing those drawings there. Can be improved on the line and detail there, right? Yeah, Wei Jin? Jian Wei?
Sir, can I share my screen?
Yes, can. Okay, the rest of the guys, if you don't have any questions, you have any inquiries, but I want to see your kind of developments, okay? After this on around is 5 or 5:30, right? Okay? I guess can dismiss. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Take care of yourself. And have a good evening at the same time, okay? So I see you guys around on the next sessions. And take care of yourself. And good luck. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome there, right? Yes, Jian Wei there, okay? Thank you guys, okay? Take care, you guys, okay? Thank you everyone, okay, for sharing. Zoom in a little bit.
Okay.
Wei. All right. Now, basically, okay, the line works that you produce, try to elevate more details from there, okay? If you use brushes there, okay, if you use if you use those ink brushes there, okay, some of the line works look like you're tracing there, okay? Try to redraw that back again.
Which part?
There's some of the detailing on the legs itself.
Oh, the leg part that looks like
all right,
tracing.
okay, you can see it from there, okay? And add some of the detailing also from the fur line, from this body there, okay? Using the same brush kind of line strokes there, okay? It works on that.
Which parts?
Can you guys see basically from the faces, from the head there, okay? Faces there, okay? If you're comparing the line works, okay, it's not very consistent there, okay? The eyes also look a bit more like a tracing there rather than drawings there, okay?
Huh?
Jian Wei? right? The line works over here look more like a tracing than the drawings there, right? Okay? Can be improved a bit more further, right? On the shadings there at the same times, all right?
But then
But
the body shading, is it okay?
looks for your levels is can be acceptable there, right? Okay? But the thing is, right now you can add more detailing later, right? But the thing that I actually try to be more concerned right now, okay?
Is my line of strokes?
Yeah, in your drawing strokes there, right? Okay.
I know. I'm still quite weak on it, but then I've been practicing. I tried many times already just now. The
Okay.
eyes
Try to
is
change basically, right? Okay, from ink brushes into pencil brushes back again.
okay.
Okay. Try to apply the drawing methods there, okay? Sketch line methods, okay, for your drawing strokes. Then when you get the right kind of strokes from there, you can mix up with those line works there, right? Because from the line work we can see that you have that kind of struggling to develop that kind of confidence, right? But if you use sketch line drawings there, maybe you can make
Oh, you
some
mean
more
like
strokes, right?
the struggle is more like is it like the line seems unstable? Is it?
Yeah.
Is that what? You mean? Yeah, because
Yeah.
like so always say like slowly draw, right? I sometimes like this kind of like curved lines around here. I will try to draw it in one go. You get what I
That's
mean?
right.
So, yeah, like this, like the head or feet here. Some part like I will draw like I change my brush. I will do something like this.
Why don't you draw on top of those drawings there, right? Okay, on those reference there, so we can see more clearer, okay, understand it from there. You can draw that kind of one single strokes if you have that kind of confidence to move your hands according to those line there, okay, really well from there. Close basically the shadows there first. You don't have to repeat. You can actually close the layers there. You don't have to basically arrange there, okay, in different kind of directions there, right? Just add new layers and try to draw them back.
Yeah, I normally will do this like this kind of like do something like this.
Wrong already there, okay?
Yeah, it's
The
actually
way that you actually moved just now is wrong already there, okay? So you have to change. Look back again how actually I draw them. Because one of the thing that you saw from these drawings, okay, from this reference, this is basically, it has a small fur kind of
yes, yes,
texture there
yes.
from there.
The texture on the
So you must be able to apply and transfer them back into those drawing strokes there, right? Mm.
oh yeah, so I also want to ask right for the past assignment, uh, like this one, I do
The
a
E,
face
right?
like this. Is this actually okay?
The face doesn't look okay there, okay? Because you don't actually apply the method that actually show how to draw those faces there, the eyes, the nose, the lips there just now. You saw basically, okay? If you compare back again the methods that I actually show you and the way that you produce there, okay, it's not okay. Okay? But the
Then should
line work's getting better, like the line work getting better,
then should
but
I redo?
I think you have to improve there. Okay, don't have to redo for these assignments there. The best way, you do it on your own terms there. Okay, don't do it for your assignments. Do it for your own terms. Practice more. Maybe later on when it come to the project 3 there. Okay, when you submit project 3, maybe you want to submit also some of the things that you've
Yes.
been working on your own there. Okay, that you have been improved from there. That's
So
better there.
the way you say about the eyes is the one that looks very like the same
Eyes,
thing I did.
nose, lips look weird there, okay? The eyebrows also look weird there, okay? The hairline stroke also look like you trace rather than those drawings.
Trace, but then
I
my
didn't
hairline.
apply all this kind of line works there. Remember that, okay? I didn't apply this kind of line works there. When you look back again to my demonstrations last week, I did not apply this kind of line works. Remember that. Okay? Hmm. Just now also, okay, when I actually draw those kind of pictures, right, okay, those two different pictures, right, okay, and I actually apply the same line work that you've been doing right now.
No,
No. So I think you don't have to what we call that question, basically that kind of give this kind of questions there, okay? Because comparing back again to your line drawings that you produce, you obviously can see the difference between how actually I move my hands from there and what you've been produced here. The eyebrows that you draw, obviously I'm not teaching you guys to draw like that, right?
Yes.
The hairline that you draw right now, obviously I didn't draw like that. But where do you get those ideas from?
I actually just draw from what I see. I didn't trace. It's like I
Yeah,
look at the shape.
you draw from what you
the
see,
movement.
but the methods that you apply is
It's wrong.
closer to tracing than not drawings there. Understand what I mean there? When we draw, basically we draw the whole structures, we form basically the flows of the hairline, strokes, using the shadows kind of movements there, right? The shadows that fall off from there before we add some shadings. Look carefully back again there, okay? January, how actually I move my hands when I draw them. Simple as that. Obviously, what you saw, what you draw right now, it basically you trace them back. We don't actually draw the outline there. Right now, what you do actually, you draw the outline there, right? And then you add some shadings and colors from there. You don't draw and practice your hands to draw on top of it. If you draw the way that you saw just now, basically, right? And the rest of the demonstration that I did before. Do you really understand what I mean in a way?
Yeah.
Because when I'm going to explain, okay, I show you guys the videos that actually works. Try to look into your eyes back again carefully. Observe things well. And try to pay attention how actually I move my hands. And try to get those kind of strokes back again into your drawings. All right?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
I'll practice more. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, try to get the feels of your strokes on the movements when you draw them. Basically, it's not the rocket science, no. How actually you're going to do it, I think. Not that right? No. I didn't draw hair like that. I didn't draw the hair like that. You draw one single line all the time there, okay? That's why you make mistakes there.
Yeah.
When we trace there, okay, those are the things that we saw when we trace. Okay? But if you draw them back, they're not going to be different there. Right? And take a look over here.
Okay.
Take a look over here, okay? The line work that I produced right now. The line work that I produced there right now, there, okay? You see? The line work that I produced here for the hairline. You draw like this. I draw back and forth there, right? Okay, but I control the pressure at the same time here. You see that, right? The different you and my kind of drawings there. The techniques that I actually try to apply for so many times to you guys there. You see that, right, Janwei?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking.
Huh? Can you learn from here how actually I draw them? This is what I draw there, right? Okay? But this is what you draw.
Sir, actually, my shading, right? I use the drawing technique for my shading, actually. Most of the time, like, for my shading, I will actually do the same way, like, how you actually draw.
That still look wrong there, right?
And then I use eraser to lighten up the
I think you mix it up all together there, right? Okay? But
yeah, I
look
mix
back
too
again.
much.
Look back again, right? Okay, how actually I draw them, right? The line works over here.
Yes.
They mixed up with the multiple various type of quality of line for the hair.
Yeah, it means that it doesn't look uniform and like very thick, like my hairline.
Yes.
I get it already.
Yeah.
Yes. Because my
So-
one is too uniform in terms of the
Yes.
thickness and strokes. Understand?
That's why basically, right? If you But all these kind of methods are okay, Janway. It takes basically time for you to digest and improve that. It's okay. But as long as you want to change and develop that kind of understanding, okay, they will actually grow yourself as a designer, okay, from time to time there, okay, because everyone has the strength, ability to develop that kind of what we call that understanding and knowledge, not in the same time there, okay, because you need basically more time to practice there, but you don't actually stop there, okay. Don't try to stop practicing because you complete this assignments or project, right? Do it because you enjoy work on that, because you will get that kind of momentum, you get that kind of rhythms, you get that kind of understanding, okay, while you actually practice them, not because of you doing your assignments only there, because there's basically a two different kind of what we call that mindset that we actually can play on. To do assignments just for the sake to get the marks, or you do it because you want to improve your skills, and they will give an impact also for your assignments later on. Difference there. People who do it just for the sake of assignments, or people who do it because they love to develop the skills, they're going to be affected also your assignments later on. So different there, right? Okay. But you have to practice more, develop it more further, right? Okay, and enjoying the process, right? Okay. Whatever that you've been working on is a process of understanding that. So if you want to say you want to redo, do it because you want to develop that kind of understanding. This one is a bit more better, right? Okay, the line works there.
But the hairline, this one actually is like the almost like the last two or
So
the
two
last
line drawings
drawing.
that combine all together, there, right? I think this one is a bit more better there, right?
This one is a hairline. I put a lot
If
of
you
time on
compare this kind of line works from that one,
to
I
the
think this
one.
is more better. This is more like a drawing instead.
It's like,
Okay.
yes,
Mm. I think you start to develop basically your own kind of way of working. Okay, you try to mix them up already, but it's a positive kind of changes lah. Okay, but be patient a little bit there, right? Okay.
Is the eyebrow like this okay? I still find it weird actually.
For the start, it's okay there. Okay, it doesn't actually right, but it can be improved more further from there if you check it closely. Okay, but I think the hair should be improved more on the strokes there
Yeah.
and mixed up with the different kind of various type of shades and line. If you want to add more detail from that, right?
This one
Because
I use I press very softly because I scared of making too thick of it.
but you have to press a little bit more further to mix up those kind of variety on the strokes for the hair,
Yeah.
because the hair is not like a face, okay, there has a consistent kind of strokes that align and structured, okay. They have a mixture kind of what we call that elements, or what we call that quality of those kind of shapes all together there, okay, to apply from there. It's not basically one single line, one single stroke hair that we want to draw, but the shadows that form basically the hair formations of those line that we actually we want to basically apply from our presentations of of our drawings here, right? Okay,
Okay.
all right. Practice more, practice to make progress a bit more further, right, from here.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for asking me that again.
So,
Yes,
uh, can I present?
yeah, can right.
I need consult for the past work
Okay.
because I didn't have the time to present for the past 2 weeks. I don't have the pen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But,
You can right. Show me the right how it works there.
yeah. The shading. I'm so sorry for the shading.
Which one
I
is
didn't have enough time, so I had to rush it yesterday. But I just want to focus on the outline.
okay, the line works have to be improved more, especially on the muscle connections, okay, on certain kind of structures there, because most of it is look more like an outline rather than those drawing strokes there, okay? But it's a very good start there. I think you can actually improve further from here there, right? Once you actually get along with it, try to get more closer, okay? The nose line works. Just like you draw the outline only. Tracing is only, right? Okay, not drawing strokes there, right?
So this one is tracing.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Almost like a tracing there, okay? Because you not actually try to apply the drawing strokes there. If you saw basically how actually I done it before there, okay? Basically there, okay? That's not basically the line what they have to do. The nose kind of the nose structure is also wrong already there, okay? You try to develop a different kind of design there basically on this reference in making your kind of presentation look worse, lah, right? Okay, because you should remain basically the same characters without make a lot of major changes and
I did
focus more on your
improvise.
drawing strokes there, huh?
I did
Right?
improvise on the hair.
That's what but it's a good try, lah. It's a good experiment from here. What basically I can suggest, okay, try to improve more further and further from there, not because of the assignments, whatever that you have submits. Basically, take it as a part of those progressions there. What you need to apply from the next kind of move there, okay, do more kind of exercise that base either not based from our assignments, but to improve your kind of skill there. I want to see from there.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. All
How
right.
about this one? The hair is wrong. I know the hair is wrong.
This one a bit more better, okay, on the stroke itself, okay, but the hair,
The hair is wrong. It's tracing.
it's a bit kind of like the line only there, okay. You don't actually draw the strokes for the hair.
Yeah, but for the face, it's not tracing, right?
Yeah, it's more look like a drawings there. Right?
Sometimes I can't differentiate if it's tracing or like
Because
drawing.
why actually you can differentiate, because we draw on top of the layers there. That's why a lot of people say, okay, this is like tracing, sir. Okay, if there is a tracing, if you trace there, okay, why don't you trace exactly what you see there? Okay, the problem is, so when you say tracing, okay, why don't you trace exactly from what you see there? Right? You still cannot doing right. You actually doesn't feel right. It doesn't turn out right, even though you tracings. That's why we don't want to apply the tracing kind of methods there. We try to draw on top of it. We try to draw applying the drawing methods there on top of the layers there. So we apply our drawing skills there, not the tracing skills. Because
Oh,
we tracing outline there, right? Okay. Drawing, we draw on top of the layers there. Right. We
okay.
applying the drawings methods there, not tracing methods there to work with our illustrations. Remember, okay, drawing methods and tracing methods there. Tracings is all about the outline there. When you draw the outline really well, without any kind of drawing strokes and shadings and etchings at the same times, basically we're just tracing them.
Oh, so I need to include the shadows and highlights.
Right now, your drawing stroke also have to include the shade at the shadings, okay, at the etchings kind of techniques there. Right?
Okay. Thank you,
You
sir.
saw back again, okay, Clarissa, how actually I draw those drawing line for okay, you will actually get it right. The eye, the pupil also had to be improved from there because it's too dark. All right,
Okay.
all right,
Thank you, sir.
welcome there. Right? Okay, guys. So the rest of you guys, Shubin, Tatian, hopefully you guys can get more kind of insight from here.
Sir, I got one more thing about the
Yeah.
pens, right? Is this considered as tracing?
What is it, am I?
The pens, is
Mhm.
it considered as tracing? Because I use like the contour line, something like that.
This one there, is it?
Yeah.
Can you
This one is
actually
better.
move a little bit on the head and on the faces? Looks okay, okay, for the line works over here. All right. It looks okay, right? It looks better there, okay? Because you mix them up all together, okay? The contour line and the drawing line at the same time,
Yeah,
okay?
it makes a bit on the
Nah,
body also.
just you quite afraid to press a bit more further there, okay?
Yeah.
On your
Actually, most
there, right?
if you see the one that I submit, most of the time the shadow will cover the lines because the lines is very
Yes, that's
soft. I
right.
did not press it very hard.
Yes. Try to
So
press a little bit and apply also the quality of line together there, okay, with your drawing strokes.
okay.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Welcome there, guys, again. Welcome, okay, Janway. All right. So thank you, guys. Okay, everyone. Have a good evening at the same time there, right? Okay. And I'll see you guys around next sessions there, right? Okay. Thank you very much. Take care, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye
Welcome
bye.
there. Okay.